Ever wonder what it's like to come back to WoW after a literal 10-year break? Well, today, we're going to talk about it. Now, for reference, I haven't played World of Warcraft since the end of Wrath of the Lich King. I recently got back into it because of this whole COVID-19 nonsense, and I've had a lot more spare time to invest in the game the way that I would like to. For me, Wrath doesn't seem that long ago because, I was a young, hip college student when it was happening. So I checked out, hey, how long ago was it actually? And it turns out that it was 10 years ago. I wanted to do this video today to talk about what it's like to come back after a 10-year break from WoW. How different is the game really? What it feels like. I do plan on doing progression rating in Shadowlands. So I'm back for good, but I wanted to take a minute to reflect on what the transition back really was like and how that's going to look going forward, and maybe what improvements or suggestions I could give to Blizzard to say, hey, make the onboarding of returning players experience a little bit better. So to provide a precise date of when I came back and in my timeline, I came back to WoW in April of 2020. That's when I hit level 120. It took me about a week to level. Quarantine had happened, but I was still working a lot and still a lot of stuff going on. But patch 8.3 released back in January. So I came in about 4 months into this patch. Now, coming back 4 months into a patch is actually a really interesting time because it has both pros and cons for what it does for you. It's late enough into patch 8.3 that with the exceptions of essences, basically everything from patch 8.1 and 8.2 are relevant, and you don't have to worry about your catch-up. But it's also late enough into the patch that things like your cloak or things like your essences, you're very far behind on and do require some catch-up. Now, WoW's devs have done a good job, I think, with the ecosystem of making catch-up easier for people that are coming back this late into expansion, but that wasn't my case when I came back. These catch-ups weren't implemented yet. So I guess I just wanted to leave that out there. I'm not going to talk about those in this video, but those catch-ups are in place now. But the main reason I want to make this video is that I see a lot of discussion on MMO Champion or on Reddit, which is a terrible place and you should never go. But I see a lot of discussion in those areas that say, hey, should I just wait for Shadowlands to come out, or is it worth me to get back into BFA this late into the expansion? And I think that really comes down to what your objectives are and what you enjoy about World of Warcraft. It's true that Shadowlands is in Q4. We could see it as early as October and pre-patch as early as September. So maybe it's just better to wait. But one thing you'll hear me harp about a lot on this channel is goals and goal setting. And what your goals are will greatly determine how you feel about a particular situation. Coming in the middle of a major patch update means you'll have a lot to catch up on, and you might need to do a fair bit of research as to what you even need to do to begin catching up. For example, when I came back after a decade, I did no reading. I didn't even know what I didn't know yet, right? If you don't mind a deep dive and you're serious about getting back in and want to maximize your time in the game with what it has left, there's no good or bad time to come back. Just come back, right? There's going to be the content for you to do. You're going to have work to do, but you don't mind. Likewise, if you're a very casual player that likes to come in, level a little bit, explore the world, maybe you have like 7 alts that are level 40, and you just like to putt around in the world, then you really don't care about this anyway, and you're going to come back when you want to come back, and you're probably not even watching this video. But a lot of players fall into that middle ground where they want to do something that maximizes their time in the game. They want to feel like they're playing the game, not just leveling. And they also don't want to spend their time that they would have to play the game doing research or reading guides or catching up. Or I've used these a lot this video, but we're going to try to stop. But maybe you're that player. And I think if you're that player, maybe it isn't a good time to come back because there is a lot of these different systems in place that you're going to need to spend time researching that if you played WoW while in linear order of while it was happening, these systems naturally would have been explained to you. But as it stands, coming back into the system in the middle of it does mean that there's a little bit of a learning curve. So it really comes down to, are you comfortable investing some time into learning the systems, or do you not care about the systems at all and you're just going to do what you're going to do? I thought for the most part that WoW developers did a good job of streamlining a returning player's onboarding experience from leveling into current patch content. I don't really have to search around, or didn't need to to be pushed into the quest line for horrific visions and for your cloak and for what the hell's going on with the Zoth, right? Corruption self-explanatory. The whole Rathian quest line was tied neatly, I think, into your leveling experience. I also thought that gearing was relatively straightforward. I think your gear from your leveling into your dungeons, into your Mythic Plus, once you figure out the Mythic Plus puzzle, all linearly followed up, and you could go from normal raids to heroic raids, or even LFR if you needed to start there, LFR to normal to heroic to Mythic Plus to higher Mythic Plus keys to Mythic. I think that was very straightforward. Unfortunately, WoW has a very active pug community, so it's very easy to find groups for this content, whereas in maybe other MMOs have less populations, it'd be harder to do that. One area where I think that this does have an issue with the onboarding experience was the Mythic Plus arena. I didn't play in Legion, right? Again, I haven't played since 2010. Obama wasn't even president yet. Oh my God. Wow. All right. Well, before Obama was president, Mythic Plus dungeons didn't exist. Okay. And I didn't play in Legion when they were introduced. So when I came back and I saw that there's this form of content called Mythic Plus and it was related to a chest where you got a free loot every week, I had no idea what it was talking about. Couldn't really find an in-game explanation, and Group Finder was just filled with these confusing plus numbers of dungeons I didn't really know yet, and I didn't know what to do. Fortunately, Wowhead has fantastic guides on all of these things, so if you're a new player on the fringe and are intimidated by all of the things you don't know, Wowhead was good 10 years ago. Wowhead is still good today. One of the things that I wish that they did better in the game was explaining what these dungeons are and how crucial they are, honestly, to the game. Without external research, I would be severely confused still, probably, on the Mythic Plus experience and what it really means for the game. Now that I'm in it, I think Mythic Plus content is great. I see why they added it in Legion and kept it going forward in BFA, and I see why they're going to keep it going forward in Shadowlands. It's just good content. Progression and having content to do with the gearing experience does have a little bit of a drawback. Joining the expansion this late in the game means that you'll have a hard time finding a progression-oriented guild that fits your goals, that's willing to take the time on you to develop you. Now, granted, this is set to a very specific part of the community like myself that enjoys playing the game competitively. I like doing progression of the hardest content in the game. Coming into the game this late makes it very difficult to find similar like-minded people that also want me. Like I said, it comes down to goals. If you don't want to raid competitively and you're fine just like pugging an LFR, pugging it normal, you're completely fine. If you're a guy like me that likes to do games at higher levels, you might have a harder time and have a less good of experience. That is my biggest drawback with this expansion for me personally as a returning player, is that I can't do the content I want to do because of how late it is in the expansion. Fortunately, I found a good guild that is taking those chances on me and working me in on their farm content, and I'm very excited about that, but that may not be the experience for everybody. All in all, I'm glad I came back when I did. There's enough content to keep players busy, whether it's the form of PvP, PvE with dungeons, PvE with raids, or world questing and all of the stuff that goes along with that. The onboarding experience is clean, not without its problems, yet it's going to be really good, and you're not going to find a lack of things to do unless you like burn out. I'm a different guy than I was 10 years ago, and WoW is definitely a different game than it was 10 years ago, but ultimately it still lines up and holds up really well and is worth coming back. And if you come back, I hope you have a similar experience too. Hey, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed me talking a little bit about returning to World of Warcraft after a decade-long break. If you have any thoughts or opinions about it, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you can see more stuff like this. If you want to talk about this transition in real time or see me kind of fumbling around in the World of Warcraft, make sure to check out my Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and there is a link down to that in the description below as well. But in the meantime, happy gaming.